Hey guys, we're back at it here on the Drive Market, and today we got our good friends Garrett and Nicole Blanchard with us, getting ready for the Passion for Success sale out there in Madera, California. How you doing, guys?
Great, Corey. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. Been seeing the heifers coming up on social media this last week. Boy, things are shaping up well out there, aren't they, guys?
Yeah, look real good. We're excited.
You bet. Garrett, tell us a little bit about your background, what you grew up in, and kind of how this evolved into what it is today.
Yeah. Long story short, I'm third generation Angus cattle breeder. It all started with my grandfather and his brother, hence the Silveira Brothers, how that worked, which is actually my step family for most people that don't know. But I've been over 50 plus years in the cattle business, and just always changing and evolving, and now we're kind of getting into a new step into life and trying out some new stuff and going from there.
Absolutely. I'll never forget first time I met you on the hill in Denver that year. I had a big string of cattle. You had a bull. His name was Silveira Style there.
Yeah.
That year, Lance Ellsworth actually, he told me, he said, you need to check this bull out. I think he's a real deal. And I went by there, got semen shortly after Denver, and the rest is history.
But get lucky every once in a while, I guess.
Oh man, that bull has sure revolutionized the show heifer industry in multiple breeds. Just world renowned in terms of what the presence he gives them, and wow, just quite man. Can't imagine what it was like to be part of that.
Just a once in a lifetime deal, and you don't even know what's happening. When you're right there in it. And, we've been lucky enough to have a good amount of bulls that have, become AI sires and have done really well for the industry. And I've always had a passion for the bull deal. I always loved it, loved showing them. And we just went with our genetics and kept going forward. And it's just, like I said, it's all luck.
Yeah. Boy, you guys have kicked out. Yeah, it's luck if you do it once, but it's skill if you do it repeatedly. And
I guess
you guys continue to do it year after year. I think 2 years ago in Oklahoma City, you had two of the big Angus bulls that were pretty good in the Forbes and the Primal sire, right?
Yeah, it was pretty fun to have. I guess it's a blessing and a curse to have two senior yearling bulls of that quality running at the same time. And, of course, Forbes got on a run and, loved Primal always, being the full brother to Primo, just a little different version, being the little bit bigger framed version of him. And he's starting to catch on. And, it was surreal to have two bulls like that at the same time and both become AI sires. And they're just starting, and I think a lot of people they're first seeing those first set of calves this year heavily, and they're just going to go from there.
Yep, absolutely. Well, there's no doubt. Since the first time I looked at your set of cattle in Denver that year, I mean, you guys have always been known for having quality, no matter what it was, and just such breed outliers, just in terms of the presence and your presentation is second to none, no doubt about it. Tell us a little bit about this year. I've just noticed on social media, there's going to be some variety, isn't there?
Yeah. So we've had a lot of change this year, a lot. No, for one, me and my lovely bride got married in May, so that started things off with a kick. But this is something we've been wanting to do for a while. It's been in the works, and we've had some changes out where we live with a drought and just all the terms and speculations that we have here in California and things like that. So we were really restricted on our water, didn't have as much. We couldn't run as many cows, stuff like that. So we had to cut down on the production end of things. We had a really big bull market. We do have a big bull market out here, production stuff, things like that. So we had to slim that down just a little bit. So now we're just focused 100% on the show cattle, which is what we love to do and things like that. And I've always liked some of the other breeds, and we've traded on stuff for a few years here and there, stuff that we liked. And all the timing just came together all at the right time, I guess. I guess when they say when a door closes, a window opens. But this is something we've been wanting to do for a while. And we have a great market out here out west. And, we've sold cattle all throughout the country, of course, with the Angus throughout the years. And now we want to expand that. And we only have a handful of options out west for breeders, not as many. But what we do have is really, really good. But there's a lot of clientele out here that still don't have a place to go. And this is exactly why we want to do the live auction too. We feel like that's a dying breed, and we've had a live auction for 20 plus years, of course. So we wanted to continue that with all the show heifers of all the multiple breeds. And we've gone and done, we've really enjoyed the main Angus deal. Like I've always said, I felt like we had half that breed anyways, so why not shoot at it? So we've been doing that for a couple of years, really, tuning that in. And we've got our first handful that we've raised in this sale that we're extremely proud of. Our Hereford program may be a little small, but what we do have is in quality. And then just going from there and just trying to get some stuff out here that people want. Like I said, our jackpot scene's real heavy out here. So we just want a little bit of flavor for everybody. In the sale, there's 10 different breeds in the sale.
Wow.
40 head. So like I said, if you can't find what you want in this sale, good luck.
Yeah. You got more than one kid and you don't want them to show against each other, you can divide them up pretty good.
We're here for you.
Absolutely. Hey, and no doubt about it, that junior program is what drives a lot of this industry, especially the show cattle part of it. What do you guys offer as far as after the sale? Those California kids, people that buy them from Oklahoma, Colorado, that show them at national shows. What do you guys kind of offer in terms of customer service?
We do it all, and like I said, we've based our program has been based around customer service for as long as we've been around. And it's what my grandfather has instilled in me, my father, Rick, everything. And it's still to this day, it's most important, because that's honestly your best form of marketing too. I mean, when people are happy with you and how you do things, it just goes on from there. So we're as there as little and as much as anybody wants us to be. We're at every single jackpot. We need to be out west. We're at, mostly all the major shows. And I'm very, very fortunate enough to have a lot of buddies of mine throughout the country who go out and represent us, of which times and places we can't be at, like all these state fairs that are stacked on top of each other. I've got buddies in Illinois, Kansas, Indiana, Texas, you name it, that'll go cover me and represent us. And it's a pretty cool brotherhood that I had. I feel like the whole cattle industry is like that. It's a great brotherhood, but really, really good friends that I have that are willing to go out and cover that and cover our bases as much as we can.
Yep. Hey, without further ado, let's dive into these cattle here. This first one we're going to highlight out of the sale is the lot 3, the April female. Now this one's a maternal sib to the Forbes bull himself, right?
Yeah. So this is the very first female ever offered out of that cow. She's a 24 carat, one we're extremely excited about. Like I said, we've been dealing with a lot of heat out here. A lot of these cattle kind of got pushed back from that, but she's recouping. pretty well, and she's built awesome, and she's just wild and different and out there. And you know, a lot of people like those genetics, and that cow is something we're basing our program around now. And we have a lot more coming next year out of her, finally. So some full sibs to Forbes. We went to Primal, did some different things. And she's just an extraordinary cow. Going back to the Collison program, she's amazing. So,
boy, this one looks like just an absolute beast in terms of her body and power.
yeah. And crazy enough, she's the hairiest heifer in the whole sale.
Really?
Oh man, by a long shot. It's crazy, but it's cool because all of our, now with the multiple breeds, and even before, like each one of our donors has a really, really cool story behind them. And you know, the 1622 cow, the Forever Lady, she's, you know, one of our lead donors now. And, you know, to make a long story short, it was a deal. A good friend of ours called us what was that, 3 or 4 years ago now. And we were in the middle of stuff, and he was like, hey, there's this Iowa State sale going on. This family has a bred heifer for sale, you know, due to style. We think you really like her. And we're like, you know, just what we need is a bred heifer. And they kept pushing on it. And so long story short, we gave him a little money, and he called us back, you know, a week later and said, hey, you know, we got the heifer, and he spent about $1,000 more than we gave him. Oh. And he's like, yeah, trust me. And we're like, okay, whatever. And didn't think much of it. And we're a central, you know, drop spot for Lathrop out here, of course. Huh. And everybody always drops off their stuff here. And Rick had some bulls that he bought, and there were some steers for like Blaine Rogers and Shane Geis at the time that got dropped off, and some other club calf guys, and I was there at the ranch by myself that day, and I'm unloading the pot, and then all of a sudden here comes this huge, hairy, freak looking creature coming off last. And she wasn't on my list of things I was sorting off. So I call Rick, and I was like, whose key or maintainer bred heifer is this? And he's like, there wasn't anybody that had that on there. And he's like, what's her number? I said 1622. And he's like, that's the bred heifer from Collison's. And I was like, there's no way this thing's an Angus. And she looked incredible. And a month later, that was like in February or March. And a month later, she calved, and she was a really good female. That fall, we ran her up. And while we were picturing show heifers, we got that donor picture of her, and our photographer, Kayla Sweeney at the time, she was like, what's that bull calf? And I was like, I don't know, just some bull calf. He's a style bull calf. And so we weaned him that day, and broke him, and I roughed him out. And that's when I knew we might have maybe had something. How bad? And that was Forbes. So,
hey, and you're offering in the lot 3A lot, in the a flush on that just talked about.
Yeah, we believe sharing is caring. So we gave people the opportunity to do what you want. I mean, she's impressive to look at in person. And we truly do believe that she is the lead of our program right now. And why not? You know, especially with the technology that's going on today with IVFing and things like that, it makes things pretty simple. So we wanted to offer it up to anybody else, whether you want to go Angus and try to do what we've done already, or you want to go Maine, Simmental, whatever.
Blow your mind when a Simmental breeder buys that flush on.
Hey, I'm all about it. Whatever they want to do.
Hey, this next one here, this lot 4 female, she's a fib to the high seller from last year at 63,000, correct?
Yeah. So that was the 7282 cow of ours, the other Forever Lady that we had. Unfortunately, she passed away a little over a year ago at a very young age, just a freak deal. So we were fortunate enough to get some things out of her. Another, you know, cool story goes behind that one. Just a good buddy of mine right down the road, Ferris Simon, found that one in the Midwest, and he's a really good friend of mine, and we always come over and look at each other's stuff. And, he told me one day he thought he had a really nice Angus heifer, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And so I always would go over and look at his stuff, and he would come over here. And I went over that day and, looked at everything else but her. And I saw her from the corner of my eye, and I was like, yeah, good set. And I went home, and my dad asked how good she was. And I said, well, we either own her or we get beat by her, and she makes a lot of money. So we bought her. His sale was that same night, and we bought her and flushed her really, real early. And her first set of calves, averaged, I think, $30,000 like 3 or 4 years ago. It was insane, all by style. And they were extremely good. And they've been a couple of our high sellers for the last 2 or 3 years. And so we're very limited what we have left on that cow. Like I said, she had the high seller from last year. And this year, once again, no slouch. This is if you want a show heifer and you want to win some majors, this is it. She's pretty special.
She does look like a special animal. Boy, huge barrel, and just so those style cattle just have that presence that you just can't buy anywhere. I mean,
the best part about these is they're going to be pretty cheap when it comes to feeding them, because honestly, these things are super easy doing, and you don't have to hardly put anything into them. They're just that big capacity and that easy doing that you have to manage of how much they actually do intake.
Yep. Just a round bale of hay is about all they need.
Yeah. But of course, we don't have those out here. We're all square out west.
You are?
We're all square bales.
Well, hey, this next one, lot 7, one's a daughter out of the exposure bull.
Yep. So that would be a bull of ours that we picked up from our friends there at Lazy Heart there about 4 or 5 years ago. They had an Angus bull that went back to the original Rosebud cow, and it just worked for our program. And he was low birth. He's a round table son. That's something we needed at the time. And, we just thought it would be something great to cover the heifers with. But to come to find out, he ended up being the AI sire for us as well, and making really, really good show heifers. Wild looking, crazy show heifers. So this is one of them. We actually sold her mother last year in our sale as a donor feature that we sold for, I think it was like $38,000. With her natural bull calf at side would have been her first bull calf, which is now a bull that we're showing that we call Heritage. That'll be out. He's a tradition son that we'll have out this fall. But this is one of her first ET calves. Same thing. We flushed her real early, and we're extremely excited about this heifer. She's, she was a little behind at first, but she's built just like her mother. Just impeccable, huge footed and legged, built just awesome. One that if you want awesome genetics and just a truly good built female, this is her.
Boy, and you talk about them young kids that are judging nowadays, talk about the high neck. She got the one that comes straight out of the shoulder blades and goes to the sky for sure.
Yeah, we try to do that around here.
Hey, this next one, lot 20, we're going to dive into the main Angus, correct?
Yep. So, like I said, something we've really been concentrating on the last couple of years. We've gone out and did our homework and went and got ourselves a really, really high-end, high main donor that we got from Jenna and SL Craft, of course, the ringleaders of the main world, I would say. And she is a maternal maid, and we campaigned her a little bit. She was very successful, and she was just different for a high. She was big bellied, sound, and things that we liked and base our program around. She had all those features. So we knew that was the case for us, and we knew that she was going to make amazing main Angus females. And this is her first ET calf, and we couldn't be more excited. And like I said, that, coming next year, we have a ton more coming, but she's had a lot of hype, and we plan on making a statement in the main Angus world. Like I said, since we had half that breed anyways, we thought we'd dabble in it. But we plan on going all in. I truly believe they are extremely, extremely good cattle. And she is very high end. And everyone that's seen her truly believes that too. And I know that main Angus deal is hot, and we're here to play with it.
You bet. Boy, she does look amazing. That breed popularity is no doubt about it. It's growing strong. One that looks to sure be competitive this fall at the major shows for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we got lot 34. This is one of those, you said there's not a bunch of them, but another one in the Hereford breed here sure has that same quality, don't she?
Oh yeah. So we at the moment we're going real big. We got three Hereford donors, but what we have is quality. And this is where my lovely wife comes in, and this is her true love and passion and her background. And back in the day, we had one or two Herefords as well. So we thought we would play in that just a little bit. So, of course, we went the right routes, and she stems back and goes back. Her mother came from Hoffman's, and her mother would be a full sister to the Vicklin heifer that went out and did a lot of winning last year. And same thing, we flushed her real early. We showed her mother a little bit, had some success in Fort Worth, won a bunch of divisions. She ended up being the show heifer of the year for the Northwest region. And this is her first calf out of high roller, and she'd be a horned heifer. And she's been in a lot of people's top 5. She's built amazing, can't hardly pick a hole in her, stout, and she's just great haired. And I think she can definitely, like most of ours that we have here, we truly believe she can play on the big stage.
And it looks like she's got some muscle to her for one of that breed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And we know the horn deal. Sometimes you don't have as many to pick from, but we surely think we've got one for people to choose from.
Absolutely. Hey, and then we're going to wind out this deal, guys, with a bang. Tell us a little bit about this lot 1 female.
Yeah. So our lot 1 heifer, she's a December, kind of an age that we're known for. We've had great success with our Decembers in the past. Just built incredible. And with her being a little bit older, we actually took her out to our state fair. That was in July. And we were lucky enough that she went ahead and won the heifer show. There's just a calf. Wow. And did extremely well. And I've loved this heifer from day one. She'd be a round table out of one of the very, very few first class original Sarah's Dream, the S609 cow. There was only 4 or 5 of them ever. And of course, a lot of people put it, they know us, they know the Sarah's Dreams. And so there was very, very few of them. And whenever I couldn't even tell you, it was probably 8 to 10 years ago when we did have those. And her mother was definitely by far one of our best ones. And Express actually went ahead and bought that female as a young heifer, bought her back, because that goes back to all their genetics, and took her in as a donor. And so we got some of those embryos back, of course, and this would be one of them. There was her and a bull that we ended up selling as well. That was very good. And he ended up winning the bull show there at our state fair as well. But wow. The heifer's her feet and legs are impeccable. She has a great look to her. And what I tell people is the most exciting part about this female is she doesn't have a lick of style in her. So you can get this female, show her in that late senior calf division and be extremely competitive. And especially, this summer, show her and do some winning, but go ahead and use those style genetics on her and get some great ones. So, I mean, she's a true investment.
Lots of breeding options there for sure without that in there.
Yeah. That's why we're really excited about that one.
You bet. Well, the cattle look great, guys. Before we wrap up here, I just want to say thank you for taking time to be on the Drive Marketing. I was so pumped when Garrett called the other day and asked about it. I tell you what, I told you earlier before we hopped on here, I seen it. If you get a chance, those of you out there, Paige Wallace does a great job. But you need to check out these two's wedding video. Just a crazy great story. I just couldn't turn it off, honestly. It was very entertaining. And one thing that I took away from that I will wholeheartedly agree with, Nicole, you said that, Garrett is such a positive person. Mm-hmm. The world would be a lot better place with guys like that. And I totally agree with that. I enjoy talking to him at the shows and running into him. A lot of breeders get barn blind, or not, they get high on their own stuff, right? And Garrett's a guy that always looks at the other side of the aisle. He's called me before about I've had in sales. And to me, when a breeder like yourself, Garrett, calls guys, it just makes them feel good. And I just think, the industry's better with cattlemen that have sales like yourself. And I thank you for that, man.
Oh, thank you, Corey. And yeah, I've always believed life's too short, and I'm damn lucky to have a better half like this one, because we surely couldn't do it without her, because she is, she's the reason why all these look so good, of course. I mean, she's the one washing, blowing, and feeding all these things every day, of course, while I'm on the phone and marketing and on the road and things like that. And I can never give her enough credit. And even with our herdsman as well, McGuire Roar, that's here now. And both of them do a fantastic job, and I can't take any credit for it. I mean, they bust their ass, and this is why everything looks so good. But yeah, no, we've got, like I said, we've got over 10 different breeds to offer. You name it. We have an amazing Charolais heifer that's in the sale, Simmentals, dual registered heifers, you name it, it's there. We even have a really, really cool commercial heifer that's very eye appealing. Like I said, if people just check out the catalog, they'll find something.
Yep. And they can check that set of cattle out on, they'll be on CCI.Live. Obviously, the sale will be on CCI.Live October 8th, this Saturday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be live on CCI.Live. And you can also go to Show Circuit Online Sales and look at the view only catalog. All the videos and pictures and all that information will be on there. Tell us a little bit about what you got lined up. Obviously, you're on the West Coast. What do you got lined up as far as making this trucking deal easy to get these heifers back into the Midwest?
Yeah, so we've had people for years, always ask, they want to do business with us, but they're worried about the distance in between. And so that's always been a very high priority of ours, but we've lined out with some friends of ours that'll be out here. So we do have a truck going on I-40 going all the way to Eastern Kansas the day after the sale. So anything in Middle America, we can take care of. We do a lot of business with Lathrop as well, Bob May Trucking, anything like that. But first and foremost, the trailer that will be here the day of the sale, that will leave the day after, all they have to do is get a hold of one of us, and we'll get you lined out. And one way or another, we get cattle there. We've done it in the past. If they want to leave them here for a while, we take them to a national show for them. We can do that. Sky's the limit. And we can get them there in a timely fashion. That's no problem. So,
well, Garrett and Nicole, we've enjoyed having you. Great, have a great time. Great luck with your sale.
Thank you.
Look great, and hey, we will see you in Kansas City.
We'll be there.
All righty. Hey, we'll see you there. Thanks a lot.